Hey everyone, welcome back to the RP Game YouTube channel. My name is Ralph, this is the life and suffering of Sir Brante. In the previous episode, we took part in some strange ritual and then didn't really report it because the ritual is illegal. It's illegal to participate in religions of former civilizations or something like that. It's akin to magic, which is also forbidden in the Empire. But because Octavia was involved, of course, Randolph did not report it to Elborn. He said it's just a bunch of nobles having some fun, nothing going on. We'll see how that goes in the near future. It might come back, as a lot of decisions do in this story. In the meanwhile, it's the year 1143. Rumors are running wild in Anizotte. People say that a mysterious clandestine society called the Last Straw holds the entirety of the city's seedy underbelly in its clutches, with men in safe houses all over Anizotte, plotting and scheming against the nobles and rulers of the province. Their leader is a woman, a ruthless criminal by the name of Sophia. She has evaded all attempts at capture. I am very curious because Sophia is a girl that came up in the very beginning of this story. A girl that Randolph did not save when she was being trampled by horses. And I'm actually very curious, if I had saved her and if I had built up a friendship with her, would she still have become the ruthless criminal that we see on the screen right now? The common people both fear the Last Straw and sympathize with their cause. If the rumors are true, the city finally has someone who will stop at nothing to help the people claim their rights. I'm just hoping that my sister doesn't join them, because that is gonna be awkward. But who would support this secret organization? How did the insurgents manage to survive this long? No one in the city knows the answers. Magistrate Verman must assuage the people's fears once again, yeah, with another 2-second speech probably. The vile mutineers and heretics who call themselves the Last Straw will be caught and executed very soon, and anyone who has given them money or shelter shall meet the same fate. The secret chancellery will make sure of that. But even facing a manhunt, the Last Straw still endures. Slowly but surely, the influence of this underground organization is spreading throughout the city. And soon she will pop up on my doorstep again, probably, or in my office or something. You're in the middle of ascending the city hall's long, curved marble staircase, a small man beneath the building's towering vault. You're suddenly visited that night by messengers from Magistrate Verman. They insisted the reason was most urgent. You're already expected upstairs. There's a deafening silence in the lavishly decorated corridors, your footsteps the only noise you can hear. Finally, you enter the spacious room that is the office of Verman. A stately official of considerable age, you find him sitting in his comfortable chair of carved wood. He acknowledges your presence with a nod. However, the magistrate is not alone. Indeed, this is Darius Otton, and he is probably out for blood. By the window of the office stands a tall Archnean. The cape of the Imperial Legion covers his shoulders. He is Darius Otton, the commander of Magra in the flesh. He does not even bother to turn around and look at you, of course he doesn't. The magistrate gestures to you formally, beckoning you closer. Yes, come closer. Judge Brante, you've come at last. Sir Otton has been eagerly awaiting your arrival. You see, the commander has learned about a litigation being prepared against him at the prefecture. He demanded that an end be put to these machinations at once, and I humbly offered him my assistance. Good luck with that. Slowly, Otton turns to face you. He eyes you with cold contempt. Yeah, I can do that too, buddy. Brante, you again. So you've chosen to oversee this so-called case against me. I don't envy you. I will be brief. I will not stand idly by in the face of slander and baseless accusations. Give me your word of honor as a nobleman that you will do everything in your power to put a stop to this litigation. Only then will you be free to leave. What are you gonna do? You're gonna keep me here in City Hall? Maybe he's gonna duel me. I would like that. I will treat any other answer as an insult against my noble lineage, and let it be known that Sir Verman holds many positions, such as the chairman's seat at the Court of Honor. Which means that any insult will be soon followed by a legitimate duel of honor. Yeah, baby. I'm sure you know full well how others have fared in duels against me. Well, you haven't faced me. I'm the champ, remember? Otton turns towards the window before you say anything, as if your answer had already been heard. Magister Verman watches Otton and you silently with a mysterious smirk. You stand before the two lords of the city, a young man only recently ennobled by the mantle. Any word that leaves your lips now will affect your fate. Oh my goodness, alright. So, we cannot put Otton at ease because our manipulation is too low. That's unfortunate. We can retaliate against Otton. Let's see, my family reputation would go up. Really? I would gain valor, I would also gain a debt and willpower. Alright, so I'm gonna lose this duel, that sucks. I cannot seek Sir Verman's protection because I turned him down previously in the story. And then I can give Otton my word, my career goes down, and just because, yeah, that's not gonna happen, so I'm gonna retaliate. Increase the family reputation, that's great, but I'm gonna die. That is unfortunate, that's my second death. If Otton challenges you to a duel, a lesser death is certain. Any attempt to avoid it will only delay the inevitable, so it would be best to confront him now. And so, head held high, you place your hand on the hilt of your sword and take a step closer to Otton. Next come the words, your words, echoing loudly in the stunned silence of the city hall. Indeed, you are the judge in charge of Otton's case, and you will see it through to the very end. Your duty and your honor demands that you serve the Empire and enforce its laws, which apply to all its subjects. Yes, Otton will surely defeat you in a sacred duel, but the evidence you have gathered against him will see the light nevertheless. You are far from the only judge ready to challenge even the most powerful nobles in the province in the name of the law, and no matter what, justice will find Otton and strike him down. Otton is stunned by your verbal assault. Yeah, you didn't see that one coming, did you? For a moment he remains motionless by the window, his face in his azure mask. Slowly the commander of Magra walks towards you, his heavy piercing gaze transfixing you. You, a human, dare to threaten me? You calmly meet his eyes in total silence, then suddenly a grimace of rage splits the Arachnean's face, his sword flashes like lightning, you barely have time to draw your own blade. Wait, aren't you supposed to go to the court of honor and duels and stuff and ask for a duel first? The clanging of swords cuts through the stunned silence of the city hall. Otton lets out a torrent of strikes in an attempt to overwhelm you. And again you barely deflect them. The Arachnean's command of the blade is impeccable. You cannot possibly stand your ground against him for long, you cannot find even a single opening to strike back. As Otton's fierce assault drives you towards the window, a commanding voice calls out from the other side of the office. Sir Otton, what do you think you're doing? For a moment, Otton stops. This is your chance. You prepare to strike him down as quickly as you can, but the commander of Magra notices your movement. He steps to the side and runs you through with a sword. A cold wave washes over you as the steel enters the body. You slowly collapse onto the marble floor, barely able to move. Otton stands tall over you, panting with rage. Sir Otton, what have you done? This is no honorable noble duel, it's a murder in the heart of City Hall, in front of the chairman of the Court of Honor no less. I insist that you leave Brante alone from now on. One death is enough for him. I'm assuming he's gonna kill Verman now. If he's a little bit consequent, then he would kill Verman now as well for speaking up. Having caught his breath, Otton slowly wipes his sword and sheaths it again. You forget yourself, Verman. You're as much a human as he. Still, what you say makes sense. This judge doesn't deserve my wrath, but if he ever tries to tarnish the name of Otton again... You lie prone at the feet of your murderer, your hands clutching at the wound in your chest. Tiny speck of red on your white dress shirt. Black clouds your vision. Your final thoughts freeze and slowly disintegrate as you leave your dead body and head for the glimmering white high above. Impenetrable darkness surrounds you. You stand alone, bare to your very essence. It paralyzes you. You have an urge to cover yourself, to hide. No one should see you so vulnerable. You cannot conceal the truth of this place. You're bathed in an unbearable bright light. It has no hint of warmth in it. It is blinding. It leaves no shadows in the entire world. It is the light of the shining pillar itself. In this radiance, you can clearly see all your thoughts and doubts, your errors and transgressions, the contradictions that have permeated since birth. They cover you from head to toe like rough, grey tatters. But they melt away. In this light, you are naked. You feel liberated and whole. It is as though all the wounds and cracks in your soul have been healed, making it the way it should be. It is as though the scales have fallen from your eyes. You see the true shapes of things now. These are the laws by which the world abides, the grand design that moves life itself. You tread a path that is barely visible in the blinding light, giving shape to everything. In this light you see the infinite complexity of the world, from the tiniest leaf to the enormity of the empire. And this world maintains its balance by virtue of the law that was embedded in it during the act of creation. Ahead of you, two figures are waiting on the paths. They are gigantic, many times taller than a man. The elder holds a lash, the younger a sword. The younger gazes at you sternly, coldly. You kneel obediently before him and lower your head. The god raises his sword above you. This is divine retribution. There is no law without it, nor can there be. Every action has consequences. This is what shapes the world, making its very existence possible. In this moment, beneath the gaze of the merciless god, you comprehend the law that binds the entire world together. Which manifestation of the law will you live by? I think I chose family in the past, in my first death. Certainly not Lot. Family is the law that has been with you since the day you were born. Your family is a model of the world, a tiny universe, and it belongs to you just as you belong in it. Actually, yeah. I am an embodiment of the law now because I'm a judge. Let me say myself. The blade flashes. The younger sword slashes through the air above your head. You do not yet deserve your final punishment. The law demands that you continue your life. Your form has not been completely destroyed, nor has that of the world. The younger extends his gigantic hand and shows you the way. You must proceed. The path leads you to the top of the crown of the silver tree, spread wide in the white gleam. The branches are close now, it's time to descend. You're drawn downward into darkness. The shadows that had disappeared in the blinding glow creep around you and envelop you. This is to be expected. But the purity and clarity of spirit are still with you. Something is forcing your throat open. Air. It scratches you on the inside. Your soul is filled with struggle again, with the contradictions from which the fabric of this world and you yourself are woven. The divine light that gave you clarity is fading away with each passing moment. You have to open your eyes. Above you is the dark ceiling of the crypt. You are reborn! It is alive! Alive! You come to your senses. Atop the stone slab of the family crypt, for a while you do not move, slowly getting acquainted with your body born anew. Your mother's somber silhouette stands above you, bowed in prayer. You hear her quiet, meek voice, just as you did as a child. At last you're back with us, Randolph. My son, it pains me so much to watch you sacrifice yourself so, all for the sake of your trade and your honor. You have 4 lives in this world by the twins' grace, each a precious gift. You've cast away the lowly lot of suffering, so I beg you do not seek it anew. Steer clear of pain and wounds and death. Your father appears in the doorway. He comes closer and bows to you respectfully. Son, the entire city is talking about you and your sword fight with Otton. Even the highest aristocracy believes the commander of Magra deserves all the blame for assaulting you without challenging you to a duel, while you acted like a true nobleman and defended the honor of the Brante name. You suffered a lesser death through no fault of your own. You leave the family crypt with a heavy heart. You have resisted Otton. He will not be clashing with you directly anytime soon, but his sword will continue to loom over you until this case comes to an end. Okay, so we're moving up in the world with our family. It would be nice to gain like 2 more points, so that we are renowned among nobles. That would be great. I mean, glorious house, I'm not gonna say no to that, but I don't know how far we are in the story, to be honest. I don't know if we can still reach this level. I keep my valor at battle hardened. It's over 20 by now. Willpower is 25, which is still fine. Otton's case still looms over you, a burden and a threat. As the strife between the estates grows more bitter, the judges' trade grows tougher by the day. The commoners demand more rights and legal protections. The nobles do their best to push back. As things stand right now, any verdict made in court may result in upheaval in the province, possibly determine the outcome of your case against Otton. One day in a park, by the Falas estate favored by dueling Anizotte nobles, you see a curly-haired young man lying prone in the small sunlight square. His body has been pierced by a sword, and it has not vanished. A true death. You are here to investigate a report of an illegal duel. The winner is still here. Slender, middle-aged noble in elegant black jacket, his hand still on the hilt of his sword, surrounded by gendarmes. Your orders, Your Honor? Sir El Corvio will not submit on his own, and we wouldn't dare use force against him. You sign for the gendarmes to lower their weapons and approach the duelist. El Corvio's eyes widen and his face comes to life when he notices you. Before you can ask him, the nobleman begins to speak, far louder than necessary. It was a duel, sanctioned by the Court of Honor, that is all. The late Sir Aleste questioned my loyalty to the Empire, called me an apostate. He left me no other choice but to defend my honor, and now he's dead. Please be quick with your verdict, Sir Judge. I'm expected at the capital. You do know who I am, don't you? Before you can say a single word, a carriage bearing the crest of Magistrate Verman rolls through the gate. The magistrate furrows his silvery brow as he looks at the sorrowful scene, then gestures politely for El Corvio to approach his carriage. With a chuckle, the duelist walks through the line of gendarmes and leans on the carriage. Meanwhile, the magistrate takes you aside for a moment. Brante, as you know, I'm the chairman of our city's Court of Honor. I refused to sanction this duel for as long as I could, since true death was on the line. But Alan El Corvio insisted that denying him would spell trouble for the city of Anizotte. Regrettably, he's a small yet important person in the Emperor's court. He used to command the Emperor's personal guard. I realize that you must mete out justice as your duty demands, but remember, duels of honor are one of the cornerstones of imperial tradition, one of the pillars that support the twins' divine vision for the Empire. You have the authority to punish El Corvio, but be careful. He might make a dangerous enemy both for yourself and all the nobles of Anizotte. That fool Aleste didn't know this. Now he's lying there before us. We would be wise not to repeat this mistake. The magistrate of Anizotte glances around and continues in a hushed voice. Brante, this situation is far from ordinary. If the fate of your city means anything to you, it would be best to let El Corvio go without a trial. Anizotte doesn't need any trouble from the capital, and the Alestes are not as strong as they used to be. They'll get through it. You may fine him if you wish. El Corvio will pay it and move on, and justice will be done, at least to some extent. However, if you can defuse the matter entirely, you'll earn favor with all the aristocracy of Anizotte. and I'll personally see to it you get a swift promotion. Ooh, okay. Deep in thought you gaze upon the body of the dead duelist and the long shadow of Alcorvio. The decision you're about to make could influence all future duels in the province, as well as your own standing. Oh man, this is gonna be a tough one. So we can find Alcorvio, my career goes up, and justice goes down. I will gain willpower and gain diplomacy, that's already at max, that's no problem. I could sentence Alcorvio to capital punishment. My career would go down, justice would go up, and my family wealth goes up. And I can do this because I have a close relationship with Octavia, really. I could pronounce the Court of Honor illegal. That is, Court of Honor is banned. The province power and order goes up, my career is -2, justice is +2, and my family reputation goes down. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to ruin my family reputation. I don't want to ruin my career either. This also makes the career go down. It increases the family wealth though. And here my career would go up and I would gain willpower. My career is at 4, so it would go down to 3. 3 is treacherous territory though. Man, this is a tough one. I do like the family wealth option though. Justice will go down to 5. How about I will find this guy? Yeah, I think I will just find the guy. The problem is I cannot afford my career to go down at this moment because it's at 4, which is like, if it goes down to 3, I'm gonna be in, in the area where I can get fired again, and that will probably trigger another event, and then the family has to spend more wealth or influence. So that has negative impact, I guess. Alright, let's find the guy. I made my decision. Probably not the best, but hey. You approach the silent Alcorvio with your decision. You find him guilty of manslaughter. As punishment, he's ordered to pay a fine to the Imperial Treasury and make a donation to the family of the dead man. Alcorvio's lips twist in a wry grin. He throws a heavy coin purse your way, which he had ready already. That ought to be enough to cut down a couple more brash impudent youths who dare to call me a traitor to the crown. I've urgent business in Eterna, Judge. Sure you can handle the paperwork yourself, farewell. With an accommodating smile, old Verman opens the door of this carriage to the duelist. Alcorvio vanishes within. Before they leave, the magistrate takes a moment to approach you. The Court of Honor thanks you for this wise resolution, Randolph Brante. Now I will placate Alcorvio myself. You've acted like a true noble, even though traces of this incident will remain, unfortunately. Your reasonable action will not be forgotten. You dismiss the gendarmes and return to the prefecture to take care of the paperwork. As long as your report is worded carefully enough, nothing about this incident will clash with the Empire-wide dueling ban. But no matter what the paperwork says, young Alesti will still be dead. That is very true. Oh, it's actually 1 and 2, which is dangerous position? Okay, I thought it was 3. In any case, I'm at 5 now, so, you know, I would like to balance it somewhere around there. If I get to future prefect, that would be great, but that's not very likely probably. Willpower is at full again, which I'm guessing is going to be very valuable with this whole case against Otton. So here we have the hunt for Tommas. I'm about to lose my best friend, probably. You're shaving before going to work. You scoop some warm water from the wash basin. The morning light reflected in the mirror is blinding. A servant rushes in with an urgent letter, or rather a crumpled note. He says it's from a childhood friend of yours. You flinch involuntarily. A nasty cut appears on your cheek. Randolph, I'm in trouble. Otton knows that I helped you. Now he's finally decided to get rid of me. His henchmen are on my trail already. They'll find me no matter how well I hide. I'm out of time, Brante. If you can, for the sake of our old friendship, help me out of this mess somehow. If Otton finds me, I'll be off to the Shining Pillar. I'm all out of lives. Your friend, Tommas. You crush this note in your hands, a drop of blood runs down your cheek. Your old friend is in danger because he helped you with the case against Otton. If you don't interfere, Tommas Guerrero is doomed. If I don't get involved, Tommas meets his true death and I gain willpower, that I'm already at maximum. I cannot eliminate Otton's henchman because Tommas is not in hiding, I guess. Wow. Yeah, those are some dire consequences, damn. So the family reputation goes down, okay? But another death. Like 2 deaths in 1 episode, Jesus, I have to protect him, I mean... You failed to protect Tommas from Otton's revenge last time, you will not fail him again. You crumple up the note, pick up your sword and rush to help your friend. You know where Tommas has been trying to hide recently. The ruined palace of Anizotte, where he used to play as children. You get there just in time, you hear a familiar voice coming from the ruins of an ancient bathhouse. Quit hiding, you bastards, you won't take me without spilling some blood of your own. You follow the cry. In the middle of the old bathhouse you see Tommas, dirty, his hair overgrown, a sword clutched in his hand. 5 men, inconspicuously dressed in coarse clothing and wielding various weapons, are slowly closing in on him. They all freeze, stunned by your unexpected appearance. Took you so long, Brante. You hear intense joy in his voice, you rush to Tommas's side, back to back you start to fight. You are more skilled than Otton's henchmen, but they outnumber you. You do not let them surround you, but the fight is still a tough one. You succeed in wounding one of the enemies in the leg and force him to drop out of the battle, but another huge bruiser is swinging a club wildly, and all he can do is dodge, quickly becoming exhausted. Tommas keeps pace with you. He performs a masterful counterattack against one of the enemies and skewers him with a sword. Unfortunately, his weapon becomes stuck in the enemy's body. He will not be able to dodge the other assailant. With a swift turn, you put yourself in the line of fire and catch the blade with your glove. You steer the tip away from Tommas, then run your sword through the thug's stomach with a quick thrust. But your triumph is short-lived. You momentarily lose track of the big fellow and he lands a heavy blow on your back. Your ribs crack, you're thrown several feet away. The thug swings his bloodied club again, but Tommas hurries to help you. Die, you bastards! Everything turns red. You lie motionless and listen as the fight continues, till several shrieks of agony announce that it's over. Tommas leans over you. An incongruous smile flickers across his face. Hey Brante, I just asked you to help, not to die in my place. Your old friend's stupid joke is the last thing you hear. Tommas's face and then the rest of the world dissolves in a white light. Man, this sucks. You're surrounded by an immense grey void. There is nothing but shadows around you, the specters of your decisions and the spawn of your personal will. You see before you all your victories and defeats, all your errors and hopes. Another shadow comes to life by your side. As you gaze at these elusive moving silhouettes, you recognize your last action. This is the death you chose to face, knowing what fate was to befall you. This is the decision you made. The shadows keep spinning and dancing around you. Footprints of every step you've taken since the day you were born. A colossal figure looms over them all, your future true death. You can no longer deny its imminence. It has always been there, waiting for you. Now you're only one step away from it. You will take that step yourself. Familiar, gigantic figures of the twin gods appear from the void to meet you. They effortlessly lift your tiny soul and hold it in their hands. They're probably thinking like, you again? Like this is like you were here like 5 minutes ago. You've always been in the twin gods' hands. Their will created you. The elder did not grant you his love, he forced you into it. The younger shaped you according to his law without giving you a choice. An enormous whirlwind arises in the void. The twin gods release you into it, and the torrent of the unfathomable will whisks you away. You're merely a minuscule particle of this universal tide. This will is the sole determiner of all events, past, present, and future. Your puny actions and choices are nothing in the face of the force of this torrent harbors. You whirl in the cosmic vortex of the twin gods' will until it casts you out. You careen back to your earthly life. It's only now that you regain your ability to act. You see all the wilds of the universe, intertwined in a perpetual struggle against one another. Which will you follow? Oh, okay, let's see. The will of the elder, who brings love to the world. The will of the younger, who imposed his law upon the world. Earthly power. Let's see, you abide by the worldly manifestation of the law and the will of the authorities, the blood tide of your ancestors, the history, or my own will. I think the will of the younger, because he imposed law upon the world and that's my job now, so let's do that. You fall into an endless web formed by the wills of the mortal world. Now that you're free of your cosmic vortex, you can finally exert your own will and make a choice. Feels like a first gasp of air after being suffocated by an alien will, the will of the gods. For your chosen will to be incarnated, here in this world, one decision is not enough. You will have to follow this path to its conclusion, to turn this will into reality by the way of your decisions, deeds and actions. Your eyes snap open and you sit up abruptly. The crypt is spinning around you. Stagnant stench chokes you. You got out. You succeeded in preserving yourself against the whirlwind that was tearing you asunder. The will of the twin gods have commanded you to continue your existence. You feel the urge to fall flat on your back and cackle madly. You are back. I'm back. Bia! You awaken in the crypt. No one is there to meet you. It's quite possible that no one even knows about your death. The place smells of damp earth. The battle in the abandoned palace of Charmelanides is the talk of the city for several days. Your name somehow comes up. Commander Otton does not openly accuse you. If he did, he would have to explain what his men were doing there. But his schemes make it much more difficult for your brother Stefan to have the Brante family ennobled by the sword. Tommas fled right after the fight. Takes quite some time for you to get any news from him. Randolph, as soon as we fought off those thugs, I decided to go into hiding somewhere far away from Anizotte. Without his spies, Otton seems to have lost my trail, and it's all thanks to you. I'm in your eternal debt, Brante. I hope you take down that bastard and put an end to his crimes once and for all. We will meet again, your friend Tommas. Yeah, so we rescued him. That is nice. The family reputation goes down. That sucks. 3 deaths. So I only have 1 more to go. Only 1 more, damn. You spend day after day hard at work, toiling over Otton's case, but something far more urgent demands the prefecture's attention today. The city is in chaos. There was an explosion in the square in front of City Hall. Someone threw a bomb at Magistrate Ramiel Verman's carriage. The assassination attempt failed, that's a pity. The magistrate was not inside the carriage at the time. He was unharmed, although his servant and driver did not fare too well. That's also a pity. Even in your office, you can still smell the acrid smoke from the blast. The gendarmes reacted quickly. 5 suspects, craftsmen and factory workers, were brought to the prefecture before sunset. They're accused of joining the Last Straw, a secret society of insurgents seeking to overthrow imperial rule. The society is on its way to becoming the talk of the city. Rumor has it their leader is an enigmatic woman, a tough criminal by the name of Sophia. The 5 suspects denied their involvement, but a number of eyewitnesses saw them walking towards the square. Some of them still have traces of gunpowder on their fingers. I mean, that in itself is already illegal because the commoners are not allowed to own gunpowder, so unless they're working in the silver mines where it is allowed, they're pretty much guilty there. Judge Carlo fucking Graben has taken the case. The trial will be mercilessly swift. The 5 are to be hanged tomorrow morning. The sun begins to set. You're about to leave for home when you hear heavy footsteps in the hallway. A stranger enters your office. He is pale, with chiseled features, furrowed brow, thick black mustache and dark eyes watching you intently from deep within their sockets. He presents you with a gilded pendant in the shape of a wheel. Baron Felipe Alfero's secret chancellery advisor, I imagine you're well aware that we deal with plots, schemes and revolts against the Empire. I have a matter of great importance to the Empire to discuss with you, Sir Brante. I'm aware that the case of the explosion in the square was not assigned to you, but for our purposes, this is actually for the best. The Secret Chancellery has been following this so-called Last Straw group for a long time now. They are the greatest threat to peace in Anizotte, but you can help us rid the city of this menace. Randolph produces a neatly folded sheet of paper. This is a list of known insurgents connected to the Last Straw. You haven't blown anyone up just yet, but surely you realize that it would be the most imprudent to wait for them to commit their next crime. The time to act is now. I so hope my sister is not on this list. You scan the list quickly. Some of the names on it seem somewhat familiar, perhaps from your youth. Find a way, anyway, to implicate them in today's assassination attempt, and you will prevent more explosions in the future. The Empire will rest easy if we can rid ourselves of this scum as quickly as possible. If you render this service to the Secret Chancellery, you may rely on my assistance in the future. As you may suspect, I have more than my fair share of powerful connections. Yeah, I'm sure this is gonna come up later on. So I'm quite sure the Secret Chancellery is gonna find out about Octavia's Latari stuff. And then having this guy on my friend list would be helpful. That's a big assumption, of course, for the story to go that way, but, you know, it has a habit of throwing me under the bus with difficult choices, so... Silence falls. The Secret Chancellery advisor pierces you with his heavy gaze. Okay, so we cannot shelter the suspects because our manipulation is too low. We cannot conduct an investigation because our wealth is too... Oh no, because our scheming is too low. Okay, that's unfortunate. So, I can obey the Secret Chancellery. This gives us the patronage of the powerful, which will come in handy. The province's power goes down. Career goes up by 2. Justice goes down by 2. Family unity goes down by 2. And my relationship with Sir Brent... Oh, with my dad goes down. Man, why does family unity goes down? And if I protect the people on the list, my career goes down by 2. Justice goes up by 2. Family reputation goes down again. Family unity goes up. And then my valor is already at max and willpower goes down. I think this patronage of the powerful is extremely helpful though. Why does the family unity goes down? That I'm not 100% sure of. I think I'm gonna obey them actually. Like, I hope that the story now doesn't say like, oh yeah, by the way, your sister's on the list. Because that would really suck. Like, I mean, that has such a major impact on the decision. I think I'm gonna go for the patronage of the powerful here. And then my justice will go down, that sucks, but my career will be at future prefect. You sigh heavily and manage a nod. Baron Alfaro allows himself a reassuring half-smile. Glad to see we understand each other, Brante. I will put in a good word for you with my connections. You're a much more agreeable man than your prefect. Perhaps you might take his place one day. Until that happens, you may call for my assistance in matters that require particular discretion. A long and sleepless night follows. 10 new cases lie open before you. Gendarmes set up ambushes and catch every soul on Alfaro's list. You fabricate witness statements and describe non-existent evidence, tying these 10 people to the 5 behind the assassination attempt against the magistrate. One by one, the 10 prisoners appear in your office to hear their verdict. You do not look at them. You would rather not remember the faces of the people you sent to the hereafter. Morning after, 10 more people join the 5 that have already been sent to the gallows. Jesus, what a rough decision that was. Back at home, Father asks you about the case. He's furious when he learns the truth. I cannot believe it. Those people were never proven guilty, and yet you sent them off to die? You quote Felipe, the end justifies the means when you're fighting an insurgency. If you take too long to eradicate the threat, it might be too late. I never thought I heard my own son say such things. The shame, the disgrace. You should never have done this. We serve the law, we don't break it. Your sister Gloria also hears about these events from your father. That execution, it was you? I knew those people. 3 of them were our neighbors. This is horrible. How can you do such a thing, Randolph? After that day, you and father barely speak at home. At work, you only talk about work. The rest of the prefecture soon notices the change. Don't take it so hard, Brante. Everyone has their principles. Sometimes they just don't line up. The world wouldn't need any judges if that wasn't true. Your father blames you, but if you ask me, I say you did your duty. Had you refused the secret chancellery, would have meant nothing but disaster for all of us. What kind of justice could we expect then? However, the quarrel with father goes on and on. You begin to feel uncomfortable at home. You start spending more and more time at work with each passing day. Okay, the struggle for power is still, quite neutral, which is good. The fight for justice. I'm moving away a lot from commoners are protected. That is not good. That is not good. My career is doing well, but we move back to disagreements and the family. But another way, I didn't hurt the family name, which was also important in that decision. If I had taken the other decision, like, the family reputation would have suffered. And that is another year in the books. Man, was this a rough year. In any case, if you're enjoying the story, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to follow along. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.